While we're waiting for everyone to attend, I think we can just start today's program and they can rewind the video recording if they want to catch the beginning also. Welcome, Gunther Mühlberger from Transkribus. I think everyone who's here at the workshop knows me. I'm Anne Sabo, academic subject librarian at the University of Oslo Library, and I'm also at the University of Oslo Text Hub, representing the University of Oslo Library. And we had a workshop with you last fall that was for mainly the librarians at the University of Oslo Library, and one of our other members of the Text Hub, who's also at the Text Lab, said that this would be very interesting to extend the invitation to scholars, faculty members, and PhD candidates. So that's why we have the second workshop where you will have more time to demonstrate and give a step-by-step guide to how to using it and answer questions for those who are interested in using the material. So without further ado, I'll just let you take over, Gunther, and then please, everyone who's here, feel free to post your questions in the chat, and then we can have questions later on, and I'll make sure we get some breaks in between also.
Right. Yeah. So hello, everyone. Nice to see you in Oslo. And my name is Gunther Mühlberger. I'm working here at the University of Innsbruck. I'm also the chair of the board of directors, which I do on a voluntary basis. And yeah, we had this first workshop already where I made a general introduction to Transkribus. Today, I will try to be very practical and to show you yeah, how to use Transkribus. And I hope that we can also maybe do some things together. We will see, but we have now 3 hours, if I understand right. So I think we will make a break in between, of course, for coffee or for lunch and quick lunch. And I have seen that you already have provided some documents and that you have some questions concerning your documents. So that I think is a good basis so that we can be very practical. And yeah, please interrupt me either by chat or you can also simply talk. I think we are a rather small group, and therefore, yeah, the formal issues shouldn't be too much. Oops. Okay, I will give you a very short introduction. Then I will introduce you the most important products and services, because Transkribus is a bit more than just handwritten text recognition. And then I will go deeper to the 3 most important services, the public models, Transkribus Lite and the Transkribus Expert Client. And then we will also have, of course, time for a question-answer session or for trying out things if time permits. Okay, maybe you have seen this image already, but Transkribus is more than a software. It is a platform, and a lot of people are actually working in this platform. So usually several hundred people per day logging in and doing their transcription work, their research work, and so on with Transkribus. So we are nowadays collaborating with people from really around the world are using Transkribus. So from Canada, from the US, from Brazil, from the countries in Europe, of course, but also Saudi Arabia or even Hong Kong. Yeah, so it's really a good, or Australia. It's really a worldwide thing. And the Nordic countries, I have to say, are rather active. So is definitely the case that with digitization you are on the forefront, together probably with the Netherlands, UK also, but these are really the most active countries in Europe. So about 75,000 users have registered already in Transkribus, and they uploaded 28 million images, which are about 150 terabytes of data. We asked some people who have worked with Transkribus what was the impact, and these are the answers from the user conference. It has convinced me that it is workable and not va pour va. So yes, that's something we really hear, and of course we are now a company, or the Read Coop is a company, and so it really provides something which is workable. Even at the beginning, it might sometimes be frustrating because it's a expert program, and you need to know some background. So sometimes people say, it's not working, I just get rubbish, but usually that's just about how they use it. My most interesting job and my first funded project, which I'm now starting, would not have been possible without it. So yes, many people are actually using it for grant applications, especially at the universities and research organizations. Many young scholars are, of course, using it and can make some success with it. Could do things that were not possible some years ago. Yeah, definitely handwritten text recognition is nowadays more and more becoming a technology which is not so surprising that it is possible, but some years ago, yeah, it was far away. I expect it will affect my profession in the future dramatically. Well, I think so. I have to say that especially at universities, a larger transcription project without Transkribus is now, is of course is done and there, but if a new project is started, then many researchers are already using Transkribus or a similar thing. But for archives, maybe it's a bit different. I also think it will change the profession in the future, but from what we see from the usage, it's still a minority, or a very strong minority of archives. But of course, there are archives. So the National Archive of Sweden is now using Transkribus. The National Archives of Finland is one of our biggest supporters and clients. National Archive in Norway, we are talking with them, but they are still a bit hesitant. But are interested and so on. So archives are interested, but maybe the future will change something. Give our department the ability to start a whole new project. Yeah, that's definitely often the case. Wouldn't have started my digital edition without Transkribus. That's also, as I said before, rather often and groundbreaking. Yes, that's hopefully what you think as well. Here's a slide from 2019 or 20, I think, about the usage of tools in the DH community. And you see here the figure from 2019. Here's Transkribus, and in 2019 we were something on the 4th place or so, 1, 2, 3, 4 more, or 5th place from all these tools concerning the usage or the report about usage in DH papers. So more and more people are using it. I already said this, about 75,000 registered users. We started in 2015, and you can see that it's still growing, a little bit exponential. Today it's already about here. Sustainability. Of course, software is a fluid thing, dynamic, but it also, such a platform needs a lot of needs a lot of infrastructure, a lot of computing power, of course, of storage. As I said, already 150 terabyte, and several servers are running here in Innsbruck to do the recognition, but also the training of the models. And of course, people who are educated and who are experts and technical stuff to support the technology. And also user support is a very important thing for us. We get a lot of emails and questions, and we really try to answer the emails, even if the people who are writing are not customers, but just clients and are using Transkribus. But I think that's something we understand as that it is that you can expect this from our background, also coming from the academic sphere, and we are still interested in the content of the documents, and so that also helps us to support you. We have set up a company, this cooperative, and it's great that more and more institutions are joining, and now we are more than 100. The main idea is that it is a collaborative effort. So cooperative shares the ownership among the members, and so there is not one big owner of the whole thing, but all members are actually owners. And it is open. That's different to a usual company. So members can easily join. In a usual company, that's complicated and requires a lot of administrative and right stuff. But in cooperatives, that's the idea, that cooperatives are open. They are democratically organized, so there is a board of directors, and with a managing director and an academic director. So we are 3, and the chair. But the important decisions are made in the General Assembly. We are profit-oriented, so we cannot cheat. We really have to make a positive balance at the end of the year, and so that also keeps us, of course, motivated, but gives us also a lot of freedom. So we are not dependent on political decisions or on grants, but we are dependent on our clients and customers, so on our users. And if the users are interested, if the users are there and use Transkribus, then our service can be sustained and can be improved. And there's no shareholder value, so we are not interesting for investors who usually give some money to startups, but then want to have, of course, a bigger share on the ownership. But that's not the case in our cooperative, or in no cooperative. Yeah, the business model is rather clear. All services are free, including uploading of images, transcription, training of text recognition models. That's something which is a lot of effort. So thousands of hours per month So our GPU servers run thousands of hours, and you can train as many models as you like. So we are sometimes asked, shall I train a generic model, or shall I train 2 or 3 specific models? And our answer is usually just try it out, train your models, compare the results, and take the one which has the best results. Also export or sharing your documents, the web interface, which is now becomes more and more important. All these services are free. The only thing which is charged is the text recognition. Here you get 500 credits, which is more or less 500 pages for free for every user or every email address. What I have not mentioned here is that we also have a scholarship program for young scholars. I think we support now more than 50 or 60 scholars worldwide. So students who write their master thesis or their PhD, they can ask us, and we usually give about 3,000 credits to them, but we also have sometimes projects with more credits. And that works also very well. People are motivated and can use Transkribus for their thesis. Then you already might have discovered that you can buy packages and subscriptions on our website. And as a Read Corp member, you get a discount of 10, respectively 15%. So for subscriptions, it's 15%. And yeah, the target groups are typically, as I said before, humanities researchers, scholars, family historians, but also archives, libraries, and so on. Yeah, the custom projects are those which are done with special customers or customers who invest more money. So mass digitization projects, such as with the National Archive of Finland or the Netherlands. But I think in our case, it's really more about the usage of Transkribus in the research context. So here are some people. I think here are 12, but 2 or 3 already joined more. So our team is expanding, and we have about 8 full-time equivalents now who are supporting the technology and the marketing and your user requests. Okay, then I would like to give you a quick overview on the products and services. Let's start with the public models. That's one of the most important features, I would say, from Transkribus, and also one of the first ideas when Transkribus was set up. Actually, the idea is now 7 years old or so, or even older. And the idea was that we let the users train their own text recognition models. On the other hand, we can keep the data and aggregate the data and therefore get larger models, which we then can make public, or we can make them available to other users in Transkribus, so that every user has a benefit of the work from others. That's the main idea, and it works very well. And that's also one of the reasons why we've set up this cooperative. The idea that if you put many hands together, you can achieve better results than without. So here you see 87 public models, and we will try out afterwards a public model or public models directly ourselves. Then Transkribus Lite. This is now the web interface of Transkribus. Most of the development work of the last 1-2 years went into this part. And maybe in the future of several years, this will actually replace the expert client. We will see currently the expert client has, of course, many more features, but Transkribus Lite is used more and more, and it's getting better and better, and yeah, allows already a lot. Then the expert client, that's something you have maybe downloaded and already tried out and so on. So that's already now 7 years old. It was the starting point of Transkribus. It's a Java version. Unfortunately, Java is nowadays not so good supported, and there are some licensing issues now, but still it is possible. It had the advantage that it was possible to program the things quicker, to develop the things quicker. And of course, now with JavaScript and so on, web applications get more and more powerful. Yeah, so it's a kind of historical thing, but on the other hand, it's still powerful and makes a lot of sense to work with this tool, and it provides all the features. Then new, and I would like to mention it here, just that you know it. This is now the processing API, or now we have a processing API available. This is not the old Transkribus API. So API means application programming interface. So machines can talk to each other with the API. And this is different. And this is a very an API with a restricted functionality. It is just about fetching an image, or you send us an image, and Transkribus does the recognition and provides you the XML file, which then can be integrated. So a typical use case would be if an archive says, or a library, we have 100,000 images of several collections. We train a model in Transkribus with the expert client. There we get the best model, and once we know this model works well for our 100,000 pages, then they can use e.g. the processing API and send just the images, fetch the data from our servers, and include them into their website or into their digital library. Then that would be also from the cost point of view, from the pricing, that's the most achievable thing. It's the cheapest thing, because also for us it is the easiest way for larger projects, of course. Then read and search. This is the idea here was that we already have many documents available in Transkribus, that people are uploading it and are transcribing, but then often they have the problem, okay, how can I publish, or how can I make my collection available? And then they need to go to somewhere else or talk to the library and so on and so on. And that's often a bit cumbersome. And so we said, okay, we have everything available, so why not offer also a very simple search interface? And that's something I would like to show you now. So that's the page. And if we search here for a name, then we search in about 90,000 pages. I was searching for a Tyrolean name, Natta. And so it's also partly a family name, Natta Anton. And in this case, we have just we use the whole functionality of Transkribus. So you can see here that we recognized just 3 or 4 fields. So we trained the structure recognition, we trained the model for this writing. You can see that the recognition rate here is very good. Actually, it didn't recognize this for some reason, I don't know why, but Anton, Natta, and 1891 is correct. And actually, these images were also taken with the scan tent by students. And as you can see, the quality is absolutely fine. And also for the recognition, it's working nicely. Yeah, so you can list the documents, and as I said, you can search, you can move within the documents, and yeah, have an overview, select maybe a special page and use, and so on. So that's very simple. And what will happen in the future with this application is that when I will show you Transkribus Lite, it will be then possible to actually that you a kind of self-publishing, that you can make the documents directly available yourself, that you upload an image, write some text, and so on and so on, and then you can simply publish documents where you, of course, you need to have the rights, but yeah, that's another story. And the ScanDent was already mentioned. I've heard that 2 ScanDents are now also in Oslo at the library. It is easy to use, especially with the DocScan app and an Android mobile phone. Then it's nicely crops the pages, and you can upload them directly to Transkribus, to the platform. Or if you have a modern book, you can also create directly a PDF with the OCR, with the automatic OCR recognition, which is very useful, yeah, for modern books also. And that's the DocScan app, yeah, which makes it easier for scanning, uploading, image rotation, and all these things. And it does, maybe I forgot the most important feature, which is that it does the imaging itself. So once you move the page, it does the shot automatically. Yeah, it waits a little bit until it is still in the image, in the tent, and then it takes the image. You can either use the audio so that you can hear a click, or also a little light, so that you know when it has taken a new image. And if you get a bit used to it, then you can really quickly scan books and documents. And we are working currently also on citizen science project, and starting from this, we hope that we will also be able to provide a citizen science tool in 2022, so this year. We can also have a look here. Here's in principle the main idea, that people can see what happened, that they can compare. So in the last 7 days, these people created 5,300, or in this case 1,700, or here 1,600 entries, and they can see what others did, but also have a look on the what has happened actually, who was active. So 4 hours ago, Gerhard was working, and he did 167 entries per day. Also project activities concerning the projects they're working in, and so on. Yeah, so here you can see that here we had a workshop in September 2020. Then they were very active. During summer, not so much was happening, also because we were waiting on new data. And when we got the new data, the people were very active and are still rather active. So that's a very, very nice thing, and we are really happy with what the people are doing. And that's also the idea for making this a general standard tool in Transkribus, that you can then invite people and that they can work and see what they have done. That's the main idea. Okay. Yeah, so this was my introduction. Do you have any questions?
I don't see any questions in the chat.
Okay.
So maybe you can proceed.
Then I'll go on. Yeah, first of all, I think we are now in a situation where not one single person is there who knows everything about Transkribus. So also me, also our developers or others are still learning. It is now a really big thing, and there's a lot of knowledge around. So first of all, of course, try out the things. It's often that we get questions where you can say, okay, try it out. And even we cannot give you a definite answer because many things are just made by experience. So trying out things is always a good idea, but of course we do our best to provide a lot of how-to guides and videos, and yeah, so you will find a lot at the resource center of Transkribus. It's currently just in English, German, and Italian, but we hope to be able to provide more languages in the future. And yeah, but then of course there are now also feedback possibilities, and you can write us an email. It might take sometimes a little bit because, as I said, we get a lot of emails, but we try to answer every email, and I think that's something we have done so far. You can also use Google in many cases. So Transkribus, how to transcribe. If you just put in a question, often you get already an answer, or Transkribus, I cannot install my Mac version or whatever. That also often already works nicely. So yeah. Then some of you, or I think most of you, were very nice and polite, and provided some information why you are working, or why you are interested on Transkribus, and with which documents you are actually working. So I got from Anne your answers, and I would like to talk quickly about that, because I think it's also interesting for the others. So someone would like to work with the Ethica Complementoria, German and Danish. The texts have been scanned but are not publicly available. The texts are printed in Fraktur font. It is used to prepare a scientific edition. Okay, I tried to download something. So there are several editions. I didn't get your Danish one, but I got the German one, and we can have a look at that. I wish to transcribe Professor T.H. Ashhogg's lecture on Norwegian law. I followed this link and downloaded also a page here, and we will try out something with this as well. Then I'm working with 18th and 19th century documents from the Norwegian police authorities and use them in my research. I'm adding a couple of pages as examples. Image 1707 JPEG. Yes, I think I got it. Then in the first instance, I'm interested in transcribing 19th century Arabic lithographed or printed texts. If that is successful, I'm also interested in Arabic manuscript documents from the 19th and early century. Cannot attend live since I'm teaching at that time, but I'm interested in accessing recording if possible. So yes, we will also have a look at your documents, at Arabic documents. Then I'm a librarian. Please give me a word if you want me to bring my own text. Sorry, I didn't do that. I have a Gothic text in Norwegian, if that is interesting. So I got the text and we will have a look at this as well. I want to see and understand how Transkribus works to be able to guide and facilitate research on Henrik Ibsen. For example, notebooks that I have not yet been transcribed. So Henrik Ibsen, that's a good situation because National Library of Norway already worked with Henrik Ibsen documents, so there is a model available, and that should be part also of the general Norwegian model, but you can also ask to get the Henrik Ibsen special model. And dear ladies and gentlemen, in my PhD thesis, I want to show the connection between membership in social clubs and local government of Rostock. Very interesting in this context is the connection between financial and social status. All this data I want to visualize and compare using historical network analysis. So these are, I think, the Steuerlisten, a table thing, which is also something we often see and where people want to have data from it. Okay, so then let's return to the public models. And let's go directly to the public models. So public models in Transkribus. And I use the English version. So here you can see different models. We are working on making it even easier for you to go through this. Yeah. You can select countries, material, languages. So let's see concerning Norwegian. Yes. So here we have Danish Norwegian and German print 17th century. We have a Noah hand by the National Library of Norway. And this is something special for Transkribus that we have two. This is an HDR Plus model. So these are two different engines and the PyLayer. They are providing more or less the same recognition quality, as you can see here, 3.7 character error rate, or here 3.8. All this is done on the same training data set and validation data set. The HDR Plus models are a bit more comfortable if you train your own models with a few data sets, with a few training data. Then HDR Plus is adapting quicker. PyLayer is very good with larger models, and yeah, is a bit cheaper. It's open source. This one is proprietary. Yeah, we can, whatever we would like to try out. Anyway, let's try out this PyLayer model and view and try model. So we get here a bit more information. The model is a general model for Norwegian handwriting from approximately 1820 to 1940. The training data set includes letters and journals of 15 Norwegian writers, including Camilla Collett, Henrik Ibsen, Knut Hamsun, and others. Yeah, and to get an idea of the writing, you also get here an image. But what is rather new is that you can now simply upload a picture and test this model. So we can go to your we go to your to the images you provided, and I think we have here bum, bum, bum.
I have a question from the chat here. Do you need a
Yes.
membership? Do you need a membership to access the Norwegian or the special model on Henrik Ibsen?
The Henrik Ibsen model went into this general model.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think this is built on something like 600,000 words. It does not say it here.
And it says free public AI model for handwritten text recognition.
Yes. So the thing is that here the good thing is that you can simply put in any kind of what you would like to work with. Yeah.
You don't sign up before you do that.
No, exactly. And it's also, excuse me, I lost this. So we can here now, actually, I don't find the image I wanted to show you.
But that means that I know that Nina, who asked the question,
yeah,
she is a researcher at the Ibsen Center at the University of Oslo. So without becoming a member, she could simply she could upload an image here on this page.
Everyone. So you need not to sign in. Everyone, you can afterwards try it out. Just go to here, and now I was a bit distracted. You can simply anyway.
Maybe
no, it's fine. I will give me 1 minute. So maybe I can explain here. You need to have an image, and I downloaded from the colleague who wants to work with the transcripts of the professor. I do not remember the name. If you download it, you get a PDF. So what you cannot do is to drag and drop here a PDF. It must be a JPEG or a PNG. So often you get PDFs. You can upload them. I will show you afterwards to Transkribus Lite and to the Transkribus Expert client. But here you need, for the public models, for this simple, what we call Transkribus AI, you need an image. And for this, you need to export it as an image. And we export it to the workshop. So, and now we can say, okay, select the file from your personal computer, and let's try out this. And I just need to upload, and the servers will work, as you can see. And then we can see how it works. And this is free. You can just use it, and it's also nice to try out different models. Yeah. So now you can see, okay, this is the result. I don't know if it makes sense, but I hope that it already recognized something. Under 5 Juni.
But if I try to read it like in English, at the beginning here, trangen til en ny kone, so the need for a new wife must therefore, or hereby became less.
I don't know how many mistakes are in, but I guess that it should already provide rather useful text, I would say.
Yeah, something about the enevelde. And then how, if you wanted to...
And you can copy to the clipboard. So we can make a copy, use Word and copy paste. Yeah, very simple if this makes sense for you. But that's, and then maybe you try out another model. Yeah, if you say, okay, I would now like to try out the print model, because that's also something which is often used, and that's one of our Swiss knives, I have to say. So the Transkribus print multi-language model. So let's try out this one. Select the file. Now I take the Ethica Complementaria from the Bavarian State Library in Munich. And now it runs this page with this print model. And the print model, actually Dutch, German, English, Finnish, French, Swedish, probably also Norwegian, I don't know. And the print models really work very, very well. Yeah. So here I can read it my own. Wie solche amorosische Komplettierung allda beim Poeten mit Lust. Here is just a space missing, but as you can see, it's very good. It's nearly without mistakes. Yeah, and if you know, this model already works nicely, then you can already work with this. Load it. I will show you later on with Transkribus Lite and so on. But here you can simply try out the things, and you will not lose any credits. So you still have your 500 free credits, and that's nice. Yeah. Let's now maybe try it out with, just to give you an idea. Let's try it out with the Norwegian. What was it? Yeah, Norwegian. Norwegian. So this model, Danish, Norwegian, and German print. Let's see what happens with this if I use here the same file as before. And then, of course, this is not for correcting or anything else. It's for trying out the models. You have Swedish models included and so on. Yeah, that's nice. You can see here that this model reads the this ligature, AI as a ligature, and yeah, it provides also a very good transcription. Yeah, so maybe this model is even better than the one we had before. And here we have also a nice ligature TZ. So very nice. And that's what I meant with try things out. That it is really often hard to say, or even we don't know how Transkribus behaves, or how a special model behaves on a special text. Yeah, I had expected that maybe our usual model is better because that's German, but now you can see that the Norwegian, Danish, and German model provides nicer results than our other one, than the other one. Yeah, so just try it out. And if you have a book which has maybe not that good results, you can then, of course, take the image, take the model and train your own. Take it as a starting point, as a base model, and then train from this. Yeah, here it says that the ligatures are included. I didn't see that. And yeah, good. Okay. these are the public models. And do you have any questions on this? From the chat?
I don't see any questions in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any questions?
Okay, then maybe let's go on.
Yep.
Then we have the version Transkribus Lite. So you can again simply search for it, or I think it's also on the website. Yeah, Transkribus Lite. Now, Transkribus Lite, for this you need to sign up. I guess all of you already have done this. It's simple, just go on with, so we just need the name and the email address. Or you log in.
Yeah.
And I log in now with Untitled Coop. So, okay. So what you see here is you start always with the collection overview. So Transkribus has a very simple structure. You have collections, and within the collections you have documents. So what you see here are collections, and it shows you the number of documents included in this collection. So in this collection we have four documents included. Each document has just one page. If you want to go back to the collection overview, you have here the breadcrumbs. So it shows you the hierarchy. It shows you, yeah, the overview. So here we have 115 documents included. Here we have just 2 documents included, and so on. Usually these are collections. So if you start with Transkribus, you see just one collection, your own collection. Yeah, info@readcoop. So we provide a simple, we provide a collection for every user, and put in some data as examples. So that's where you start with. And then, of course, you can create collections. So if you want to work with something specific, then you create a collection, and you see now we have a collection with no documents, and we can also add some more things, but also we can upload images to the collection, or to the document, actually, to the document. So we have to provide a document title. NB prof XY, and we browse the files, and we take this file and we submit it. And now it completed the upload. And then people are sometimes asking, okay, where is my document? That's maybe a bit, yeah, a bit annoying, but okay, you can always use the jobs button. So that gives you a good overview what we have done. So we created a document, and if I click on the jobs, I come to the documents with which I was working. Yeah, so it that's rather helpful. So that's something I did for the preparation, but I can always go to the jobs and see here I created a document. So now now I'm in the document. Yeah, the one I provided before. So now I think I would like to maybe recognize this this document. I go to the document overview and I say, okay, text recognition. I need to select pages. I can either write it or simply click here. And now I select the model. And here I have the same public models as before. And I can again ask for the Norwegian model, for the Norhand model, and let's use this one. And I select it and start the recognition. Okay. And again, in the jobs button, I will see it's now running. And soon it will also have done finished. It will be finished. I click on it and I open it. And now I get more or less the same result as I got before. But now I maybe want to correct it, because here we can see, of course, that's not correct. I think it should say 11 instead of S1. Not sure, but I think it's 11. So I have here several buttons. I can change the display. I can just show the image or just the text. That's maybe not so interesting and helpful, but more interesting and helpful is that I can edit the page. And then it opens me an editor where I can simply work. I prefer to have a bit larger screen, larger font size. So 11, and I don't know, I cannot read this. Yeah, I guess there will be some errors which need to be corrected, but of course you can do this here and write whatever you think makes sense. You can save it and yeah, and in this way simply correct the document. This was a very simple document, so it might happen that the baseline or the line recognition didn't work nicely. So in this case, you would need to you would like to work with the layout. And for this, we have the layout editor here. So if you switch to this button, you can now see the result of the layout recognition tool. The layout recognition tool tries to find all the writing on a page. And as long as all the characters are covered by this baseline, or that they are above the baseline, then it's fine. And in this case, it's really a very simple page, but we already can see that, e.g. here, it created a line which makes no sense. It comes from the stamp. Yeah, so we can mark it and simply press the delete button and it's deleted. But it could also be that I'm interested in this writing here and it did not recognize it. So I would add a line and I just click and click. You can see I can also create more complicated lines. double click, and now I have the line and the recognition. Once I start recognition, the HDR engine would try to find now here some writing, which in this example is not very useful, but let's assume that this is a real writing, then it would make sense. And so I can simply create more lines if lines are missing. And if I go back here to my document, then you can see that here we have now the lines, and we could now write what is written in these lines. And so you can switch between this view and this view. It will always save the things, or it will keep the things. You can either save here or here, but it keeps everything synchronized. Yeah, do you have any questions on this?
I was wondering, when you were editing the text, are you then also giving input to the models, or are you in a sense indirectly training the model, or are they separate? Is it...
No. So it's not active learning in the sense that you type in something and it already learns. But you have to select afterwards. I will show you those pages which are corrected and add it to your model, and then make the training.
Good. Are there any other questions? I don't see any in the chat. I'm wondering, should we take a brief break before we continue for people to get a cup of coffee? Is this a good place to have a break, Günther, or do you prefer?
Whatever you want. I'm fine with you.
Let's take a little break until 20 after.
Okay.
So we have
fine.
time to stretch, and then I have a question here in the chat. Can I upload a picture for a test?
Yes.
Do you mean, Nina, to submit it to Günther so that he tests it for you?
I thought it would be interesting to do it commonly, to do it together.
Yeah,
because it's
sure.
an example where you mix handwriting and written text.
Yes.
I wonder how you solve that.
Can you?
Okay.
I think we can do this together. Yes.
Nina, would you then like to share your screen, or do you want to send it to Günther so that he can do it?
The last.
Send it to Günther?
If I could, I wonder how I could send it to you.
You could probably upload it in the chat here, and then Günther can download it, or you can send it to, try that. If not, we can do email.
Good idea. I'll try.
Okay, good. Then we'll see us at 20.
Yeah, 20 after.
Fine.
Okay, great.
Perfect.
Perfect. Hello.
Oh, hello, everyone.
I see that Nina has shared some images with you now in the chat.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. So I think it became rather clear that you can here edit the text, that you can here see and work with the layout of Transkribus. There are several things here. You can add a region, you can undo, redo, and there are some shortcuts so that you can work rather quickly. E.g. press M to merge two selected lines. And indeed, sometimes it happens that you have one line, but Transkribus does two lines. Yeah. And this is then a bit in transcribing, it creates two lines. So we see here the shortcuts tell us hold M to merge two selected lines. So I guess I can select two lines in holding the control button. And now I press M, and you can see here it's now one line. Yeah. So that's some things. If you work more with Transkribus, then you can discover such things which make life much easier for you to do this. Now, what I didn't show you here also is that you can, of course, move things. Yeah, if it didn't work nicely, you can move the lines. You can expand them. Well, not that far, but and you can add or just delete one point with the delete button. So that's all working rather nicely. Just try it out, play around, and if you work more with Transkribus, you can optimize the things. Then what you should know is that Transkribus stores everything you have done. So there's always a version, or always the old versions are there. So if I load the first version, yeah, you can see, this is really a version with nothing. So it's the new version. Then we did, as it tells you also what has been done. It tells you that we did the SIDLab HDR Norhand. So we can load now the old version, and then we did something, we stored it, and here are already some of our what we have done are included. And you see who has done it. In my case, it was info@readcoop.eu. So the user is displayed here as well. If you are working in a team, you can see who has worked on this, and yeah, info@readcoop worked on that, but also others could do it. Then you have here the breadcrumbs, as I said. Here is the document, here's the collection, and here's the collection overview. So you can always go back either directly to the collections, or if you just want to go to the document, you can go to the document. If you want to go to the collection, you can go to the collection, which looks very similar, of course. Now is maybe a bit confusing, but yeah, that's just because it's such a small collection. But we are working in the Oslo workshop collection. So we open the collection, and these are now the documents you have sent me. The complementaria and so on and so on. Yeah. So as I said, you can have here the overview. What you can do is that you can e.g. select two documents like this one and this one. You see selected documents, these two, and do now e.g. the layout recognition for these documents, because you can also split up layout recognition and text recognition. This is especially helpful for more complicated documents like here the Steuerlisten or other documents where you, if you work more professionally with Transkribus, then often you will split up text recognition. So if you do text recognition on an empty page, on an empty document, it will do the layout recognition automatically, as you are used to it in OCR software. But if you want to correct maybe the layout first, and then just do the text recognition, so you can split it up. So let's open here the layout recognition. You see the selected documents, and then you have several options. You can see here the baseline detection or the printed block detection. The printed block detection might be helpful if you're working with printed documents with more than one column, because our baseline detection has a bit of problems if you work with maybe documents like this. And I think in that case it works, but in other cases it might happen that that it is better if you have printed documents to work with the printed block detection. So let's do the baseline detection for these two documents. We start, and this is one of the free services. So we just start. We again get the job thing. 2 jobs are started. We can look at the jobs, and you see, one was done very quickly, and the other one was also done rather quickly. So let's see. Let's again go to this document. We have now done the baseline detection on this, and could maybe correct it, and then do the HDR independently from this. So if we go back here, we could again select it, and now we do the text recognition. We again select the model. Norwegian. In this case, we take bilayer, select, and start. And now it does the recognition again on this page. But what I wanted to show you is that you can split it up between layout recognition and text recognition. Then you see here more buttons, like the training button, upload and download, documents and users. So maybe we should have a look to the upload button. So in the upload button, you can upload images as we have done it before, but you can also upload PDFs, which was not possible, if you remember, with the public models. There it was only possible to work with images, but here we can upload also a PDF. So again, if you want, we can take this PDF and submit it, and the upload job started. Yeah, it's also a free service. You can upload as many images as you would like to do. Then download means that you can download images or different types of the recognition. So you could, e.g., download a PDF, and then it tells you that again it will create the job, and you will get the download link via email. So if you want, after a while, you will get a notification, and you can download then the files. So they are now prepared on the servers, and you can see page XML file is the master file, alto file yeah, usually users don't need it. It's more the PDF, maybe the TI or the doc file, which might be interesting for you. Then it's also nice to know that you can add users. And I think you have sent me the usernames. Let's see. So, e.g., I have here username from the list Anne sent to me. I don't know, let's search. Okay, it seems that no user is available with this email address. Let's look for another one. Chup. So you still did not register?
I don't know if anyone has registered yet.
Oh, that's strange. So registering is for free. So okay, so I use another email address where I know which is existing. And you can see here, and then you give it a role as a reader, as a transcriber, as an editor, or as an owner. The owner can do everything except delete. Then that's something where you need to be the one who has uploaded the things, or let's say editor, and now add this person. And now this person is also able to see this collection. Yeah. So and can work in this collection, but only these two people so can actually work with this collection. I leave out the tags because that's an own thing. You can also use Transkribus for annotation. Yeah, that's something which is maybe more for an advanced workshop, or maybe later on, let's see. And I wanted to show you, what I wanted to show you here is also the training function. So as I said before, you need to train the engine. That's something which is not automatically done, but you have to start the training manually. And a typical use case would be, again, e.g. this document. This document has maybe a transcription which is already shows something, but a lot of errors are included. If this is the case, then you would now correct this page, and you would do that probably for 10-15 pages, and then train your own models, your own model for this document. So you would go to the training button, you would give it a model name, a description, a language, Norwegian. Then you would say which kind of transcript, so the latest transcript, or I count truth only. So let's take the latest transcript. Then here you have the documents from your collection. In our case, it was this generated thing. You can either select the whole document or just the page. And you can see here selected training data. So this is what you selected for training. And I would then select probably the 10 or 15 pages which you have transcribed correctly. Then you say next. Yeah, you can, you always need validation data. So validation data means that that the engine has something to compare with. Yeah, the training data are those where it learns, and the validation data are those data where it is examined. So that's the examination, and from this you get somehow the character error rate, the metric, the data, how good the model is. That can be done automatically, so 2% from the training set or manual, whatever. And yes, any reason it didn't like me, so let's do it manual. And then next, you get an overview. So here we have the training data, we have the validation data, and you can here choose now the engine and yeah, PyLiar or HDR. As I said, for small models, HDR Plus might be better. You can say the number of epochs. This means how long the training is done, but 50 is usually fine. And you can select a base model. So again, you can say, this was already okay, this NOAA model. And now you press the button Start Training. Then it takes the model which you have seen, which provides some results already, but is not perfect. You add data for training, and then the model, the new model, which will be created, is adapted to these selected training data. And so it already knows something from this transcriptions here, but it is then specializing and focusing on the new data and should then provide much better results. So in principle, it's very easy. I don't start now training because, of course, all this makes no sense, but it will then run for several hours and you get an email that your model was trained. So if you have, e.g., the goal that you have this document here with 300 pages, and you know that you would like to have a perfect transcription for this, then simply transcribe, start with the general model, transcribe 10, 15, 20 pages, train a first model, transcribe on the basis of this first model maybe 40, 50 pages, again, of course, in Transkribus and doing it correctly, and then train the next model. And the next model should already be better than the first model. And in this way, you can go on and at the end, or with 100 pages, you will then probably see no real improvement afterwards, because 100 pages for a neat writing like this will, can guarantee you that for this hand, you will get nearly perfect results. Yeah, and then of course the correction is so quick that you, yeah, it's like reading the text and doing some corrections, but not comparable to really keying it or doing or correcting a transcription which is not so good. So for this, Transkribus Lite works really good.
Can I ask a question just to be clear that I understood it correctly? So to train a model, first you use the general model transcribing.
You need not. You can if you want.
But then you need, before you start training a model for a specific handwriting, should you then be correcting the first transcription that it tries to do, or can you just feed it?
Of course. No. You need to correct it. So the training data must be correct transcriptions.
So the 10 to 15 pages must be corrected transcription that you...
Exactly. Or if you have a document like this one, it is clear that there will be no model from the beginning. Yeah. So in this case, you have to transcribe from the very beginning. Or also with other very individual hands. Yeah. What we have seen before was a nice hand. But if you have e.g. this document here has a very individual, but has rather individual writing. Yeah? And then the question is if it makes really sense to correct something, because of course it can be the case that correcting is more work than simply writing. Yeah, that's something you have to decide on your own. If the general model does not provide, like here, I guess this is more or less rubbish. Yeah, then it's better to simply start with the transcription. And then of course again in that case I would say you need more than 10-15 pages. The 10-15 pages are especially if you have a public model which already reads something nicely. Yeah. So like I said, in this case here, I don't know, do we have here? I don't know how many mistakes are in here, but if it is something, yeah, you have to decide. Is it quicker to go over this text, or is it quicker to key it? That depends on you. But of course, you need, yeah, some. But the text must be correct. That's the most important thing. The text must be correct. Otherwise, the training makes no sense, because this is supervised learning, and supervised learning means that the engine gets examples from which it can learn.
Thanks.
Okay. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah. Are there any questions? I don't see any in the chat. Okay.
Good. So with Transkribus Lite, you can do these basic things, especially if you have a project where you are maybe the one who is the expert, but you want to invite people for transcription or so. Then that's good. You can prepare the documents and then provide users, give them access, and they can e.g. do the transcription. This is also something which you can easily use in courses with students, e.g. if you are teaching paleography, then people are often using Transkribus, and then you can set up a collection, add the students, and they can work, and you can see what they are doing, and you can talk about it. And at the end, you can train a model with the documents from the students. So if every student has to transcribe 10 pages, you have at the end maybe 150 pages. You can train a nice model and so on. So you can teach a lot, and that's very simple with this. But now let's go to the expert client. So the expert client, we see now the same documents as we have seen before. But of course, here we have more buttons and more things which we can do. We can, but in principle, the thing is the same. So if we go e.g. to our generated thing here, we can see here again the same document. We see the lines. It's a bit a different way to show it, but that's, yeah, but it's the same. We can also here start the recognition, but here we have yeah, more. You have to need to know a bit more. So it's under the tools. We see again the layout analysis. We see the text recognition, and there are some other things which are not in the Transkribus Lite version. But let's do the text recognition also here. So here the window opens, and we see that no hand is already selected. So we can do it on the current page. We can do it on several pages. We can even do it on the current collection, on all documents, e.g. if for larger projects that's useful. Then some special things like polygon simplification and so on, something which is not so interesting now for you. Let's start it, and then it will run. Here you can also access the models in the same way as in Transkribus Lite. You see here the models. It tells me that it was done. Again, the public models, or if you train your own model, then they will be in your collection. Yeah. What is important to know is that that you can share. If you have trained your own model, you can share it with other users. So that's rather helpful. Share model, and you can put the model to another collection. Yeah, if you're working together with other people. This is not publishing, but it is just allowing you to share what you have done with others. Yeah,
Can I
here,
just add something?
yes, of course,
Because I
please.
know that there are a couple of scholars here from the Ibsen Center, and Ingvild Beyer at the National Library. She has trained, as you said, Norwegian handwritings, including on Ibsen, and she is very happy to share her models. So she said to me, of course, our work at the library with this was delayed, but as soon as we've signed up, which is free, as you said, and have something to submit, just email her, and she's happy to then share her models with us.
Exactly.
So she could share them with you, Nina and Kristin.
So in that case, you would just need to tell her which collection you are working in. So if you go here to overview, you see that the document we are working on has an ID, and the collection Oslo Workshop has an ID as well. And that is something which Ingvild would need to know to be able to share it with you. I think you even need to add her to your collection. Sorry, yes. In order that she sees your collection, she needs to be part of your collection. So you would need, we would need to add her in this collection. So user manager, and I think, give me a second. So her address, her email address is Ingvild Bayer. Find users, here she is. Yeah. And if I add her now to this collection, add user to where I am the owner, then Ingvild can share the Ibsen model with you. But on the other hand, Ingvild already included Ibsen into her Norhand model, and therefore I would not expect that it is much better. But try it out. So she can share it and try it out. Then maybe you get better results with the special Ibsen model. But usually the difference is not that high.
And I'm not sure, but when we had the workshop in October, I don't know if there was a more recent version of that Norwegian model, the general public one, that she hadn't shared yet.
Could be, yes,
Yeah.
could be. Just get in contact with her. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now maybe yeah, a few words on how this is built. So here you have the main menu, and you again can upload images. You can here export images. It's the same, but many more options. You can then search documents. That's something which is also possible in Transkribus Lite, also full text search. So every document which is recognized is also indexed, or should be indexed. But maybe it takes, yeah, here it is. Yeah. So this is already indexed. You can always search for the documents. That's also possible in Transkribus Lite. Then you have here the jobs button, which you already know. And of course, you see the same jobs from before. You see also here. So also the same documents, everything is the same. It's just the display is different. You can move on and yeah, save the transcriptions, and you can provide here several status. So in progress, done, final, ground truth. So here you can a little bit organize the status of your documents. And then you have here with the shape visibility, you have a bit more options. You can show the regions, you can show the lines or don't show the lines, or show the baselines and don't show the baselines. Yeah, that's something which gives you a bit more options to work with. But here again, you have similar situation as you know from Transkribus Lite, that you can work with the baselines. Also reading order can be changed, and that's something which can be done also in Transkribus Lite in a, I would say, more convenient way. Yeah, display, fit to the page or fit to the width or original size, and yeah, can write as a bug report. That's something which I probably forgot here. We have here the feedback button, which is very useful in Transkribus Lite. Is if you discover a bug, or if you want to have a feature, don't be shy. And for bugs, it's also rather good that you can do a record screening, which is very helpful for our developers, because they can then really see what you are doing. That helps most, because often you get just this and that does not work. Yeah, but we don't know where it does not work. So that's the problem. Oops. Okay. Let's go back to Transkribus Expert Client. And here are some sub-tabs. As I already said, you can here have an overview on the document. Then for special things, I will show you later on. The layout button is very helpful, because here you have the hierarchical order of the layout. And also metadata is something which can be used, but I will not talk about this today. You can annotate text, but you can also annotate special like this page numbers and so on. And the tools button is I have already shown you. Here the most interesting thing is that you have a compare text version. That's something which will come later on, but we can see here we have done Sitlab Advanced with this, and here Norhand, and we can compare this. Okay, that changed. It has to have the same the layout does not change, must not change to make a comparison. I will run here. Yes, let's do it with the language model. Okay. Now let's go back to your documents. And so here we have this Fraktur document. And as I said before, printed documents, especially if they are coming from books, the recognition is more or less perfect. So that's easy stuff, and works well. It also reads the paragraph and so on and so on. Of course, there is always the problem with how to deal with this. So with the page numbers, yeah, is it better to have it in one line, or I mean, no one will search for this. So that's something which is always a question how to deal with it. But the text itself, as you can see, is really excellent. And that's something you can expect even for newspapers or other pages. Printed text of the last 500 years is usually recognized very, very well. Then we have here Arabic. I think the guy who used Arabic is not present in the workshop. Are you here?
Yeah, no, he was the one who had to teach. So he is
Yes,
the one who asked
yes.
that we recorded.
So yeah, the line recognition, as you can see, works rather well. but I used a general public, no, not a public model, a private Arabic model. My feeling is that it already recognizes something, but I don't know Arabic, so it also might be simply not be the case. But yes, Arabic can be trained. But of course, if you look to Arabic, you can see there are a lot of diacritics above and below the line, and this is even printed. So that makes it complicated for the engine. And if we go to the next page, then of course it is even worse. You can imagine that this makes really problems, and if you then have also marks like this. So yes, but you can work with this, but the results, or like here, the scans are here, of course, also very bad. Yeah. So if you have to deal with such documents, it's really the question, can you try to get better scans? That would help, because you can see here a lot of wrong, the layout recognition has problems with the dots. And then of course this kind of writing with a lot of writing over the line and between the lines and so on. So that's really a challenge, and also for the layout recognition because of this. So I don't know if it really makes sense to do much with this. Then I got this image. Yeah, here the layout recognition is very well. It has two main blocks, and the lines are fine. I think the general model did not work very well, so I also used here the Noah model. So I think this is Erich, or is it Eric? I don't know. But Elling, one of the few words I would say which is correct. But probably here again it would be faster to work without the text and to train a special model for this special hand. But again, after 20 pages or 20 images, I would say you can expect something. After 50 pages, results should be good. Then have you seen this? Yes, we saw this. We saw the Ethica. Yes, this was this old writing. And then we have the Steuerlisten, which is really interesting. Here it makes of course no sense really to work with the general layout recognition tool. Yeah. So if we, let's do it this way. If we, let's delete all the layout. So here I guess that the people, or that you are interested in getting the data into an Excel sheet. I cannot really read it, but I think, here are some columns, and then here are names, and here are some per anno, I guess, and the number they have to pay for tax. So if you run here simply the layout analysis, then you will get more or less rubbish. Oh, not rubbish, but of course, what we as human beings see very well, that this is a table the engine, of course, has troubles. So it finds the lines, but it has troubles to find something in between, and it finds also something here. I mean, it did a relatively good job here, but it does not really know that it is a table. So for this task, we can do something manually and do a mixture between manual work and automated work. So let's again delete this. And we have here, we can here add text regions or lines and baselines. So this is similar to Transkribus Lite, but we have here also the chance that we can add a table. And this is a rather powerful tool. So we can say, okay, this is one big table, but in reality, these are 3 tables, after what I understood after thinking a little bit about it. So let's say this is table 1, and here another table, and here the next table. And let's assume that each table has 2 columns, that this is the family name and the, or no, this is Stand. So this is the profession. Okay, then let's say we have 3 columns, this one, and this one. Now let's split up. We have a split function. We can split in here, and we can split here. And okay, there are some as you can see here, this goes over here. So I add here some lines, some dots. This is of course a bit cumbersome, but is okay. And then we have the rows, so we can split horizontally. We start from below. Well, I think we can also start above. Okay. And of course, this has to be done for the 3 tables. And now we can run the German model, because I think this is from Rostock, and the main names are German, and also the writing is a mixture of German Roman typeface and Kurrent. So let's see, German Kurrent. Yeah, let's take this one and let's run it. And then it will create the baselines for each cell on its own and just for the cell. So that makes it easier. This was also the reason why I did it here in this way, because otherwise it is to expect that it goes through the writing, and then the results are not as good. We can open one of the versions I did before. So now you can see here I did it with 2 columns, not with 3. And it reads, yeah, I think this says plus check. So it's here blind check and 19 and 32, that's correct. Here it says Struck, okay, but it has troubles with the stand. 19, 25 and so on. But of course now you need to correct Dietrich, so the family names are rather good, more or less without mistakes. Bade, but it has not seen probably words like this one. The numbers are also surprisingly good. But what the most thing is, which is nice, is that you can now export this table directly as an Excel. So if I export, then I get this here, and you can see if you have corrected this in Transkribus, you exactly get here what you would like to have. And you get it for table 1, table 2, table 3 for each page. And in this way, you can really, you can work with structured data in a semi-automated way. These, and here we have it now with 3 columns, yeah. And as you can see, it worked rather good. The other model which I used was a bit better, I think. Anyway, and if I export it now, I have 3 columns, and I can go on with that. So these tables are really challenging, as you can see, but there are often situations where you have printed tables. And with printed tables, so there is a table with a special form, and then the people just fill in the information of the cells. And for printed tables, you can even automatize this. In this case, I just mentioned it here, you would need to use the structure tool and train a structure model, and then it would recognize the columns. And we are working also on the automatic recognition of the rows, which already works rather good. And for this, you can then, create the table structure in an automated way, but not for tables like this. That's too complicated. Okay, questions?
Are there any questions?
Yes. Can I just ask it like this?
Yeah.
I wonder.
Sorry, I forgot your documents. Now let's put them in.
No, but it's okay to wait, and I have to excuse me for not adding them the correct way. It's because I've been down with COVID the whole week, and today is sort of my first day back in normal function.
So here we have Nina.
But I wanted also to ask if it's possible to extract the data or the transcriptions in another format. I think you have also the option of XML. Is that right?
Yes.
Is that only in the expert version?
No. Let's go maybe back to the light version. So here we have a document with text. No. Where did we create text? Here we created text. Okay.
Yeah.
So you go to the document, And no, sorry, you go to the collection. And here you say download.
Yeah.
And then let's select images, page files, PDF, TI, and docx, and start. And now it will be done. And it will tell me in the emails.
But it says no document selected.
Oh, thank you. I'm not so used to this. Here we have to select. Okay, now. Thank you. As you can see, I'm more convenient with with the expert client, and I have to learn the light a little bit on my own. And it is developing so quickly that it's yeah, still I need to learn. Okay, so then we get an email to our info@readcoop account.
So the downloads are sent per email.
Exactly.
I see.
So here you can see export document complete. And now I get a zip file. And here's the zip file downloading. Let's open it. And now I have the original page files with the image. So this collection is exactly how Transkribus works with the master files. But we have also the PDF with the text in the background. Yeah, I can search. I can search the PDF. I need to there was one word which it found, maybe 1680. Yeah, 1680. Okay, so I can search the PDF and also, of course, copy paste the text. I can open the Word file. Here it is. And I can, this is the XML file. I think that should be TI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Mm-hmm. And with the expert client, you have even more possibilities, e.g. what I have shown you with the here with the Excel file. This is something export which comes from the expert client. So here you have also a simple text file which you can download, or you can table export into Excel. Also some page metadata, export all formats. Yeah, you have here more options, e.g. for the PDF, highlight text, highlight articles, export PDF-A, and so on and so on. Of course, the expert client provides you more information. It depends on what you need.
Yeah.
And now I think we have uploaded your document. Here we are. So here's the document. Okay. So this is, what is it?
It's the account book of Ibsen, and so it's something the National Library has done some tests on, but they also noted that the table format is complicated. So and now you have already shown us the challenges of a table, so I guess it's transferable. But this is more interesting because it's a mix of different sources.
First, the question to this: how many do you have of that kind?
We have 2 account books, and there are several hundred pages altogether, so it would be worth working on.
Okay. If they look somehow, I guess that each page looks rather similar.
Yes.
Then you can let's go back to the expert client. Something which is a bit strange with the expert client, but that's Java, that you sometimes need to reload. So you see, I didn't see the Nina document. Here I can see it now, but I had to reload. Sometimes people are a bit confused. Yeah, so in this way, I guess, yeah, it depends on you if you also need the headings or whatever. Yeah, but to create a table, as you have seen, that's something which can be done quickly. So you would create probably one table here, and I guess that then you would just work with these things here. You need to chup. Then you see that it did also some things here, but that's something you would like to merge. So you keep the control button, you select both, and you merge. And, here, maybe you would like to, okay. Good question how this can be done. Yeah, I need to add a point, I guess. Add a point. So skip. Then you have done this in a nice way. Yeah. And I guess the rows is something which will be more or less individual on each page.
Yeah.
So I would keep it maybe that way. Maybe down there, it makes sense to have here also a horizontal ruler one more, because it's the sum. And here maybe let's merge. And then you can copy paste this table to the all other pages. So that's simple. You can here copy regions, text or tables to other pages.
Yeah.
And with this, you already have the general thing available. And of course, you need to do a little bit of adaptation, but on many pages, hopefully it will work. And then you can simply run the text the text recognition. And then it depends if you really need this as a row, or if you are satisfied just with this and the text. That's something you have to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you do it just in this way, at least you get for each page the sum. You get a cell with these data. You get the cell with these data. If you really want to have it like 1st of April, it was this, and transport here, it was this. Okay, then you have to do this also. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
needs a bit of manual work, I guess.
And then that's still manual work. Yes.
Yes. I see. That's great.
Okay. And the next page. Yes, here. Here, I guess the biggest problem will be the biggest problem. Always you have to start with the the text, with the line segmentation. So let's simply run it and see what happens. So you are interested just on the handwriting, or you are interested on both?
Actually both, but the handwriting is the most crucial to get the transcript of, because the printed obviously is easier to read.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, as you can see, it found nearly everything. So that's the good message. Yeah, of course, here that's something, I guess, sometimes it was a writing, but no one ever will be able to read it. So yes, you need to work a little bit with this as well, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have no idea if this is one sentence and here is another one, or what does it mean. So the reading order is also something which is, of course, always a bit tricky in things like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
But can be dealt with. Then yeah, so Nestroy, nice. And what it did not do is what is for us rather clear. It did not create here a column. So this will flip. Yeah, you will. But that's something where you can say, okay, what is the actual? How would I read this? Yeah, and then you can again either split. So maybe let's split it here. Oh, excuse me. I have to mark it and then split. And maybe split it here. Oops, again. Or what also would be possible, that you say, I do it from the very beginning, that I create special that I say, okay, this is one thing which I'm interested in, and so on, so that you do the block segmentation your own, and then run it just within. Yeah. So in this case, as you can see, because I split this, you can see here it goes very well. So the reading order is now here more or less okay. Yeah, and before it would have jumped from here to here, from here to here, because it would order the lines just in a physical way. But then, yeah, you can either transcribe or simply start transcription. It is not a big issue to train models which are able to read. If you have this for many pages, it is possible to use a model which can read handwriting and printed text at once. So that can be trained. It's not a big issue. Gee, this model should be able to do this. So I'm now running a German model, so it will not provide very good results, but just to give you an idea that it will be able to read the Fraktur and also the handwriting. Yeah, if this is something where you have hundreds of pages, then it might be useful. So you can see it reads something.
Yeah.
first the act, and here it reads also something, Jacobsen. Yeah, it read the Jacobsen. Yeah, and it never has seen, it's a German model, so it never has seen that kind of writing. So of course, writing is not good, but at least it's Jacobsen. Because I can read it and it also can read.
Oh, well, that's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's it depends really on what you want to do. If you want to if this is a famous writer and the remains maybe of a famous person, then it makes sense to invest time. Of course, if it is not so important, then just automated processing might be the right way.
The thing is that this kind of material would be valuable to present with the text underneath, because it's really hard to
read.
Establish the text as machine readable text in a viewer. So only to have the transcription underneath would be a really a great access to this text.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the reasons for this read and search, that it is so easy then to have both sides. Yeah, that you have that you can always see what is here and what is there.
Yeah.
So for searching, of course, people, I can now show you maybe also that we can search here. Jacobsen. Was it Jacobsen or Jacobson? Ah, sorry. I have to wait one day. I forgot this. The colleagues are working on this to improve it. That searching is possible right after the transcription. But nowadays it takes one day, but that will change. Yeah, so Jacobsen to search for is one thing, but especially for handwriting, it makes a lot of sense. If people have troubles to read the handwriting, then they benefit a lot if they see, even if it is wrong, they usually get some, of course it needs to have some quality, but if it has acceptable quality, they will benefit in reading the handwriting if they see the even wrong transcription beside it. Because as a human being, you get some idea and then you know the context and so on, and then you understand much more, even if the handwriting itself is hard for you to write, to read.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, maybe back to the Steuerlisten.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes, please.
At what point in this process would you have to pay?
If you start, you get 500 credits. Here you see the credit manager. And my credit balance here is 331. So I can do about 330 pages. And just for transcription, for recognizing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I do the layout analysis, the export, the create document, all this is free, no credits. The pi-layer decoding, which I did before, this was 1 credit. And it tells me So if I say here, excuse me, if I say text recognition, bilayer, and let's select from Nina the page. Sorry. So text recognition. Okay. Okay, I have to open the document and here select the page. Yes. Sorry. Once more. Okay, and if I press here start, then it tells me charge package ID, 500 free credits, handwriting, balance, cost, -1. Yeah, perfect. And then it's 330. And get credits means that you can online buy the credits. Yeah, there are many options or several options. e.g. become a member, or just regular on demand means that that you get now 120 credits. If you subscribe, then it's 300 credits per month, and so on. Yeah, here's a credits calculator, how many pages you would like to do, if it is handwritten or if it is printed. Of course, printed is much less credits you will need. Handwriting is 6 times more expensive, and yeah, also bilayer is cheaper. So here are all the questions which you can ask. If you want to buy credits for the university or for the library, we of course sometimes libraries and universities have problems to buy online. Then of course send us an image, send us an email, and we will send you an cost estimate and receipt. Yeah, and you can buy it, and if I edit, then you can directly go on with the work. Yeah. So if you get here more credits, then you can go on. Okay. Yes. I was interested concerning the Steuerlisten. Is the colleague here who works with the Steuerlisten?
Yes, yes.
Hi. So does this go in the direction you thought, or how many pages do you want to work with?
I was especially interested in the second column, which was not recognized actually, because it's really difficult to read and therefore to transcribe.
This column, the Stand. Is it Stand?
Exactly. The Stand, yeah. Meaning more or less profession.
Yes. Okay, yes. Yeah, if you are just interested in this, if you just, I don't know, are you interested to have it in connection with the text, or is it just that you have an idea on the social structure at that time? Social structure, I mean, on
really the best case would be to have exactly these lists as these are in these columns, so that I can connect names, professions, and the taxes which they had to pay.
Aha. So in principle, like here, or even better with the Stand as an extra column.
If possible, please with Stand as extra column, because afterwards in the historical network analysis, I want to describe first names, second professions, and also the taxes.
Yeah, so I will export this here. So this is Excel export. We can do a server export, or we can save a little bit of time and do a client export. Okay. Overwrite, yes. Okay. Let's go to the desktop. So that would be somehow the way it would be ideal. So I don't know the Stand. Okay, that's all not correct. But like here, Evers, Schul, probably Schul, anyway, and the things, the text. But of course, that requires work in here, yeah. So of course you need to do something in here, and if the data, I would probably, yeah, I mean, if you correct the data herein, you have the advantage that you can use them for training. Yeah. So I have no idea what this means here. Or also here I can't read it. No chance. Zipfler. Does this mean Zipfler? Probably yes. Ah, Tischler. Ah, so here it read correctly.
It's Lichthag. Somebody who sells light.
Aha, okay. Lichtha. Interesting. Oh, interesting. So anyway, so if you correct that kind of writing, and especially since these words will probably will be repeated, then you can train a model which should be able to read this in a better way after a while. Yeah. But from the model we have currently available, yeah, it really has troubles. So you would need to do that more or less semi-automatically, but then at least you have it already as Excel if you have done this here in Transkribus.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any other questions, or what you would like to know?
Can you show us again the steps of training the model where you would?
Yes. Maybe I show it in here in the expert client. You have here under tools, you have the train button, and you get this form. It's again the same thing, model name, description, or language, description. Then you have here the two engines, PyLayer and SITLab HDR. You have already pre-filled things here, so you don't need to change that. You can choose the base model. Again, if the base model, there is a case for the base model if you get already some results with the base model. If the base model is not very good, I would not choose it because it doesn't make it better. Yeah, but if the base model already provides something which is useful, then I would choose it. Then you can leave this as it is. You select the pages. Yeah. In that case, you just move it to here. Or you say add pages plus training. So you can add a complete document. You say training. But only documents with text, of course. So we can put this in here. Then you can say again, you need some pages for validation, which means, okay, for getting the validated data. And that's it. Then you just say train. You get an overview that you have selected 702 words for training and 388 for validation. Usually models should have around 10,000 words. Yeah, or a bit less. It depends on, yeah, maybe 5,000 words, but several thousand words. And if I start training, then it goes on. What you get is then a mail. And if you open e.g. a public model or a model which you have trained, then you will get some information and you will get this curve, which is very nice because it shows you how good the model is. And what you can see here is that the blue line are the training data. They are very good, below 1%. And the validation data are 3.7%, also good, but still much higher. That's overfitting. So the model learns a bit by heart, or the engine learns by heart. So the reality is that you will not get a recognition rate of below 1%, but you get definitely one below 4%. And so that's what you should know, or what is usually the case, that the validation set is a bit worse than the training set. And in this case, it was built with 10,000 with 10,000 words. That's what you get also if you train your own model.
Are there any other questions? I had thought that we would, have a couple of breaks, but I got so absorbed in the presentation, very interesting. And so it's 10 to 3. Are there any other questions? Do you have something you'd like to add?
Here we got now the results for the document from Nina. And as you can see, it's already very good with the model, the NOR hand model. And it's nice that you selected something from the Burgtheater in Vienna.
That was deliberately.
Yeah, of course. As I said, there are many more things you could do with it. We have here the metadata. You can e.g. tag things like let's assume you want to work with the text here, and I don't know. Yeah, usually München is a place name, so we have you can use either the predefined tags, or you can use your own tags. Why is it not here? Place. Or Wien. Yeah. So you can work with tags. You can define your own tags.
So that's what you meant with tagging. So you have like place name tags that you can add to.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. You can do this, but you can also say, e.g., this is very helpful if you have something like, let's assume that you are always interested in these three things here. Yeah. That you have a situation where this appears more or less on the same page, on the same place. Then you can here work with so-called structural tags. So this means that you can that you add here. Let's assume this is a header. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something which then can be trained. So you can have here the tool Pidopala, and you could then train a model which always finds something which is on here, but it is intelligent. So it's not that it is pixel wise, but it really learns what is the characteristic of this. And I have shown you before this Grundbuchblätter from Austria, and this was learned with that model, not model, with that tool, so that it reads here that it finds here the place and the family name. That's because we have trained it. Yeah, in the same way, we just marked this field and trained it with this tool. And you can see it's different ways how to write it, and it still finds it. Of course, sometimes it makes a mistake, like here, but it finds it, even if the name is not directly besides here.
Yeah.
Like in this case. Yeah. So you can do a lot with that. Also, probably not for this case, but for other cases. And of course, you can always mark also tags in the text. So the one thing is on the image, and the other thing is in the text. And we are now also it will be possible to train tags so that it recognizes e.g. München again and gives it a place tag.
Yeah.
Yes. What I forgot to show you is that the thing with the comparison. I will run another model. Let's take this one, yes. Okay, so what I want to show you here is how useful it is to compare different models within the expert client with this compare text versions and the compare function. So what I did here is I used now the pi-layer recognition with the model Transkribus German handwriting. And here is the pi-layer version with the model Norhand. And this can only be done if the layout is not changed in between. So you have to use the same layout. But then if we compare now, here we can choose.
That's very interesting. So it's really easy to see which model is best.
Yes, in that case, you have to do it on your own because we don't have ground truth. Yeah, but you can quickly see. So the green one is the new one from. No, the green one is the pi-layer model, the Norhand, and the red one, the hypothesis, is the German handwriting, which I used now just by fun.
Yeah.
And you can see Krona, that's the same. Transport, but of course transport is correct. Felix Bloch, yeah, is correct. And here is Felix Boloch. Yeah, so you can easily see, the green model is the better one.
Absolutely.
If you have already, you can do this in even a scientific way. If you now correct this, yeah, then if you correct the page and then you do the compare, then it really does a computing with a scientific metric and gives you back the character error rate of the model compared to the ground truth set. Yeah. So in this way, you can even really measure the quality.
Wonderful. That's perfect. Well, let's see. I think we should just really thank you, Günther, for taking the time to give us this thorough demonstration and explain, and especially giving careful attention to the text, the images that were submitted to those who attended or who wanted to attend and weren't able to attend, and who will get the recording of this workshop that I will post to the workshop description page. And I will share it also to the Text Hub members so that you get an email. Thank you so much, and everyone, or those of you who are here physically or at the same time in Zoom, feel free to email me and Günther with any follow-up questions. You can send them directly to Günther or to me, and I will forward them to Günther, and we will stay in touch. And also remember, Nina and Kristin, that you have Ingvild Beyer as an excellent resource at the National Library, and she's happy to share the models that she's trained.
Fine, great. Then thanks a lot, and yeah, don't be shy. Write us an email, try out the things, and yeah, good luck.
Thank you.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.